Hello, welcome to the final episode. Wow, we're already here.
Yes,
Final
we
episode
made
of
it.
season 1. How do you feel?
Interesting. No, no, I still remember when we discussed shooting the first episode and we were testing the Zoom link and we were testing different platforms. I I feel like we've come such a long way from there in terms of like, you know, coordinating with people, editing the episodes. I didn't even imagine that we'd reach the point in the same year of releasing all the
Yeah.
episodes and going to a season 2. So, yeah,
Yeah.
this is super awesome.
I think it's one of the first big vision board items that's actually come to life for me within the same year, which is, yes, cool, awesome.
But let's dive in.
But before we dive in, I want to
Okay.
take a moment to thank all of our hosts. Sorry, we are the hosts.
Yeah.
Thank all of our guests who took out the time to come and like chat with us on a podcast that didn't even exist when we were recording it.
Yeah.
So we thank you guys for putting your faith in us and giving us the time. I also want to thank Martina for these mics, for letting us borrow them. Thank you. And also thank you for the space today in your
Oh,
lovely home.
of course.
Cool. Now we can dive.
Okay. So diving in, you've been listening to both of us for a season now, but just to give some context of who we are, why we're interested in doing this, what our backgrounds are. So, would you like to start?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, so I worked at Unilever in Dubai for like 6 years. I also studied at the American University of Sharjah. I did my undergrad in computer science. Then I worked in a completely unrelated field, as a lot of us do. At Unilever, I worked in procurement, so I used to buy stuff for a living. And
It's pretty cool.
I wish it was like bags and shoes. It was petroleum jelly and
You
like other
moved to
chemicals.
that.
But yeah, that was fun. I negotiated for a living, which was kind of cool. After that, I wanted to like switch careers and get like a little bit of a change. And I also wanted to study. So I applied to ESA and ended up here. I looked at different career paths that we can take, and VC seemed to be the most interesting, exciting ones for me. And that's also why I tried really hard to get an internship in the summer. And I also wanted to learn more about the space, and hence we're doing this podcast, Learning in Public. What about you?
But you made it to BC over the summer.
Yes, I did. That was another vision board item that came to life in the same year. Crazy. 2025 has been fun.
It's been fun. Yeah. Well, about me, I actually come from the venture capital background. I right out of college, um, a firm named Mumbai Angels Network was, nice enough to hire me as an intern, and then I climbed my way from there. From there on, I went on to then work with TurboStart, which is another fund in Bangalore. I've worked in venture capital all through the time before the MBA, and these were firms based in India, but like invested in companies globally. I know the jargon. For me, while coming for the MBA, it was about trying something other than venture capital. And over the summer, I ended up actually working with an impact consulting firm. I didn't go too far away. It was an impact consulting firm that consulted with impact investors, investors looking at impact, and startups that were trying to incorporate impact into their business model. Um, and yeah, I mean, if you didn't catch that, both of us are ESA MBAs and trying to figure out our post MBA jobs now.
Yes. But before post MBA, you mentioned a lot about your work in Impact over the summer.
Mhm.
Do you think, like, did you like it enough? Would you go back to Impact as a career?
I like impact as a career. Um, I think just based on like how my career has been, I like having impact as part of the work I do. I I realized over the summer that I enjoy, working with startups. I enjoy the investment thesis, the, finding those companies, talking to different founders. And that is something I'm again trying to go back to. Um, Even though I know that, you take like 1,000 calls to get those one or two startups. I'm okay with doing that. Like I've lived that life and I realized that I enjoy that life. Yeah.
To know more about that life, check out episode 1 with myself and Damien, where he takes us through the 80-20 rule. And we're
Yeah.
just going to keep plugging episodes in
Subtle
here
plug-in.
because why not? But like I like how you spoke about like liking to talk to different startups and going through the grind, because that's what my summer was like. For someone who, unlike you, comes from like no VC background, or not even, I didn't even do a finance course in like undergrad. So for someone like me, it was very interesting to be an intern at this like really early stage firm,
Yeah.
because it's a small team, and as an intern, they take the liberty of plugging you in everywhere and wherever required, which is cool because then you get to learn so much.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun for me, and that summer kind of solidified that I do want to work in VC.
Love it.
Yes,
You're gonna love it.
I hope so. I hope it loves me.
But okay, let's take a step back then. Yeah, I I remember like all of us, recruiting, and I guess for most of the first years, that January to May period is a lot of recruitment. So, do you remember like the, I don't know, cringiest or like the weirdest thing that you've done with LinkedIn when applying to firms?
I don't know if this is weird, but it's not the right approach, at least.
Yeah.
I had like one CV uploaded into LinkedIn that was like good, it was polished, but it was just one standard CV. And any jobs that I found that like remotely match what I'm looking for as a summer internship, I would just like just apply back to back without tailoring the CV to what was needed. And then obviously like it didn't move forward much. But thankfully I made this mistake like very early in the process.
Yeah.
Because while I was talking to like second years and alumni about my process, they were like, excuse you, why don't like there is a job description, there is a chat GPT, why don't you tailor the resume, please? I'm like, okay, that's basic. I should have thought of that, but thank you for pointing it out. Cool. But yeah, that was like a no. So if someone else is doing this, let me be the second year / alum telling you not to do it and to actually tailor your CV. But I'm sure very few people do this. And what about you? Have you
honestly, a lot of people do this.
Really?
Okay, no, genuinely. For me, I think it was, I mean, not exactly this, but something similar. I remember just looking at jobs on LinkedIn, going to those firms' websites, and mass applying. Like 1 month into those applying, I remember getting a lot of rejection, and those were standard rejections saying, "Hey, we have a lot of inflow of applications. You stood out."
I think you were the
I'm
inflow.
sorry. I clearly was, and then I remember like talking to a couple of second years, and they were like, "These are all firms and ecosystems where they value networking, where they value like you showing initiative, which is also seen at the time you're applying.
Right.
So you don't just apply; you also find someone who's in the firm. You, I don't know, send like a warm connection, something like that. And I got, again, for me also, I got to know about it, I think 1.5 months into doing this mass, I don't know, like applying through.
It's called spray
websites.
and pray.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what happens. And if you actually go back to episode 3, Hugh talks about this, that when you apply, and I feel like I thought I was the only one doing this, but when he spoke about it, I was like, okay, thank God there's someone else who did this.
Now that we spoke about where we interned, let's talk about the process before that. We spoke about the cringy part of applications. Now, was there ever, you had enough rejections, right?
Yeah.
Both of us did. Was there ever any one or two rejections that really stung for you?
I think so. I think because we're part of the ESA bubble, all of us were part of the, let's do consulting as an internship. And when consulting didn't work, I was like, okay, no problem. I've been part of the venture capital ecosystem. I can do that as an internship in a different geography from before. So that will be my change. I remember applying to an early stage fund, which was very similar to what I used to work with before, like in India. I was super confident about it because I put the time, I I put the effort in. And I remember getting that generic rejection. And that, I remember when, as soon as I saw that, of course, I was like super, super sad, but it was also, that doubt that creeps in, like, I've been part of the ecosystem, but am I not part of it anymore just because I took like a break for the MBA, or does this just apply in the geography I was there? I think that, like, that was the first. After that, I got a lot of rejection, and then you do get desensitized.
Yeah.
But I think that first one from a fund that was very similar to what I worked with before. Yeah, that one really hurt. What about you?
In my case, I find it funny now, but at that time it was really not funny. I was asked to impromptu speak, like MC. So I was there and I was using my phone for like notes. I'm on stage, I'm looking at the notes, and I get like 5 emails back to
No.
back. Like you can see
Oh
the
my
notification on top, right? I should switch that off. And all
Oh my
5
God.
are like unfortunately or like better
Oh
luck,
damn.
like all
That
of
must have hurt.
those
That
kind of
must
things.
have hurt.
And I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, what am I even doing here? Like, why apply? It's over. I'm not going to have a job in the summer. Oh no, everything is done.
I
It's
can
all
imagine.
happening in
I can
that one
imagine.
second. And then
Yeah.
on stage, you have to be like, So, that was not fun.
Yeah, lesson for everyone else. Don't take your phone on stage. Please make notes.
Right.
Take printouts. Anything.
Anything.
The good thing is both of us got internships, and well, here we are with our podcast.
Yeah.
When did that first
Mm.
interview happen, or when did that first call happen?
When did it go from like red and
Yeah,
depression to like
yeah.
actual hope?
Yeah.
For me, it was around April actually. So we have to get. Ideally, we want to start our internships in June so that you can cover June, July, August. We can chill, but sometimes that happens later for people. So the stress really starts going high in April if you have nothing, right? In April, actually, it was like a really good friend of mine. She has a restaurant in Dubai. It's called Cup of Chai Cafe. If you're in Dubai, go check it out. It's really good food. She was talking to me randomly, catching up, and she's like, "You want to have an internship?" And she's an HR. She's in the recruiting space, so she knew how bad it was. She was like, "Hey, man, if you really want an internship, if push comes to shove, I can just create a job for you in my business.
Yeah.
And it is a startup. You will learn. There's a lot of work to do, and it'll be in Dubai. We can hang out." I'm like, "That's not a bad backup at all."
Yeah.
So I had that one backup lined up, and it was quite solid. And that somehow I didn't expect it, but it gave me some confidence. Then I started like talking to people that I want to network with and all that. And I was like, yeah, I'm most likely going to go to Dubai and intern at this restaurant. And they're like, oh, interesting. And that became a way to be like, hey, let's have further conversations. What is this restaurant? What do you know about the business? Through that, I got, and that's one friendship angle. The second friendship angle was a teammate of mine. He invited his like internship boss from a search fund to come to ESA and have a talk. And I have no idea what search funds are, but I just went to that talk to support my friend and just see. Like I was curious, what is a search fund? What are they searching for? So I went, and that was quite interesting. I spoke to him towards the end. He connected me with his VC counterpart in his firm. I had a call with that person, and he connected me with one of the startups they invested in, also
Really
coincidentally in the
Yeah.
food space.
Yeah.
And I got an offer from there as well. Now, I had more than one option, and I was able to
Yeah.
get 2 of my friends also an internship to places where I was not going to intern.
Really
So
cool.
that felt really good.
That's really cool.
But yeah. What
Yeah.
was your swap moment?
So this isn't really internship, but I had applied for a fellowship with First Impact Partners. First Impact Partners is like a venture studio based out of London, but they have fellows from like global MBA schools to kind of help either startups or investors with the climate focused KPIs. It can
Okay.
be anything. It can be research. It can be go to market strategy. It can be anything. I think around the time when I started getting a lot of rejections, I was like, maybe I'm not competent enough, and I just wanted to take a step back and like gain that experience. And I applied to them saying, hey, I mean, I've worked with startups before. I'd love to learn. and like they got on a call with me, they gave me that offer. So
Nice.
I think that was like a glimmer of hope for me. I was like, okay, fair enough. At least I mean, I've gotten this and I'll use this to build up.
Yes.
So similar to what you said,
Mm.
like I then used that in my conversations with other companies I was talking to. But I think the internship I did, I gave the interview for that in first week of May.
So just, takeaways from this Q&A part is basically don't lose hope
Yeah,
and like use your friends.
for
Basically.
sure. For sure, use your friends. By the way, First Impact Partners, before I gave the interview, there was someone else from the first year who was interning there. So I spoke to him before having that interview. So like the entire ESC ecosystem is like big enough for you to find someone with the remotest of skills or connects who will be able to help you out.
Yeah. Cool. So season 1 is almost done. Well, with this episode, it is done.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you learned the most? What are your takeaways from season 1?
Okay, so I think there are like three things for me. One, I remember Mercedes mentioning that yes, you should do like a part-time internship during your second year if you wish to explore like the ecosystem, but don't do it for the money. The money is not going to be enough to I don't know, manage your second year expenses. Second, you're only going to do the MBA once, so like don't dive into it thinking, oh no, I need to start working. You're going to be working after the MBA, so like don't dilute your MBA experience just because you think, oh, I'll get some money out of an internship. So I think that was one of the things that stuck with me. The conversation with Hugh and Grace, both of them, I remember emphasized, and I think this is, while I know they spoke more from like a startup angle, I feel like I can apply it to like my personal life as well, which is really, really be conscious about, like for startups, which investor you're bringing on board, because this is someone who's going to stay for some time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've become more conscious about the companies I'm applying to or the VCs I'm applying to. And finally, I think coming to the first episode with Damien, I remember him mentioning that you go to the conference and you get fascinated by people speaking, and they'll talk tall orders, but then later when you do your due diligence, you're like, okay, this was a lot of crap. Uh, I, and like I know that people can talk tall orders and then not fulfill, but I think for me it was about like not getting intimidated by people being super confident.
Yes.
Like confidence doesn't necessarily mean credibility. I know it's obvious, but like sometimes someone has to say it for you to like get reminded about it.
True.
What about you?
All of that actually.
Yeah.
Definitely all of that. But like a couple of things I really enjoyed about season 1 is because our guests like they didn't even know, right, what this was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if we had come up with a name yet at that point. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
We definitely didn't have a logo at that point
Yeah.
when we were recording. But
Yeah, we didn't have a logo.
yeah, and these guys, they just put their trust and faith in us, and they've given us like an hour of their day to record, whatnot. So
in some cases, more than an
hour. Number two, I enjoyed that dumb question segment with Damien. And
I agree. That's my favorite.
Now that like we released the episode, I get quite some good feedback about that one segment, and like maybe we should do more. I don't know.
Fair.
And I also feel like each of these episodes were, in a way, like a playbook, especially the one with Hugh. I feel like I was listening to the edit before we released it, just to see if everything is flowing well, transitions, and I really felt like there were so many new things for me to pick up, even after like having interned in VC, having taken courses like relevant to the VC world. There were so many more things that I was able to learn. So I feel like the guests really made it for me in
Mhm.
terms of like the quality of their advice, their thoughts, opinions,
Yeah.
and also that dumb question segment was too fun. You should figure out another way to keep doing it.
Okay, without giving too many spoilers, what can people expect from season 2?
Season two. So, like the way we are looking at each of these seasons is that it builds on the knowledge that hopefully our listeners have gained from the previous season.
Yeah.
Season one was about internships, people who very recently graduate from ESA or second years,
Mhm.
etc. Right? Season two is like the guests that we have on board are
Yeah.
people who have been in the VC world for like at least a couple of years, like
Yeah.
3 to 4
Yeah.
years. So, and each of them are hopefully in like a specific sector, like healthcare, etc. So they are going to talk about what what's that segment looking like, where is the industry headed, and
Yeah.
what's their day, like how does a day in their life look like. A little bit of how they do deal sourcing, a little bit of like the do's and don'ts, a bit on recruitment, and also a bit on like startups hoping to pitch to them at some point. So it's a good mix, and it gives you a really good idea of what does a life in like a full-time job in VC look like.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for it because as I listen in while Damien is interviewing people and like research for my own and yours, I feel like that in itself is such a cool learning experience, and I can't wait for the audience to get in on this.
Yes. Let's go
Exciting.
then.
Cool.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of season 1. We can't wait for you guys to see the episodes from season 2. Thank you so much for being part of the journey through season 1, and we love listening to your feedback, what we should add more. So keep that coming and see you soon.